voice yelling at me. My father had a full head of hair when he died. Hello, everyone. I'm Danny Darrow, and I'm sitting in for Josie Show. Persons of Interest, once again, coming to you from the MNN TV studios in New York City. We're on every other Tuesday night at 6 p.m. on FiOS, RCN, and Time Warner Cable. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching the show, supporting the show, and just tuning in. And we're going to be showing you a lot of wonderful and different shows. And today we have once again with us Rabbi Dr. Bernhard Rosenberg. And he is a Jewish scholar and a speaker. He's the author of many, many books and was the Holocaust chairman of the New York Board of Rabbis. He's won many awards like the Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award, Chaplain of the Year Award, and many, many others. And Rabbi Rosenberg, I want to thank you very much for being here on Josie Show, Persons of Interest, and we want to hear all about the story of your life, which, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be fascinating, and you're going to love it. Just keep watching and keep listening.
Well, we just finished a show on Rabbi for Trump,
okay,
which was funny, and I hope people will watch it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. When I was a little boy, and I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri.
All right.
There used to be a show that I'm sure many of the older people remember. It's called This Is Your Life. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember This Is Your Life.
Yeah.
Sure.
And who was it? They used to go into people's homes.
Oh, my.
And talk about their lives. And
yeah.
So my mother,
Gary Moore or something, or Art Linkletter, or one of those people in those eras. I don't know if it was. It could have been. It could have been, because I was a little kid at the time watching it.
Well, anyway, so my mother would say to me, one day you'll be on a show, This Is Your Life.
Aha!
So here we am.
Oh!
This is your life.
This is your life.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, well, thank you for being here.
Okay.
And let's hear all about This Is Your Life.
Okay. After this show, we're going to do a show on the Holocaust.
Okay.
Okay, which is part of my life. But before that, we're going to do this. And my life is really interesting.
Okay.
At least I think so.
Well, the people are going to decide that once we hear it. But I want to hear it. Let's get going.
Sure. So I was born in a displaced persons camp.
All right.
In Regensburg, Germany.
All right.
And in fact, I recently went back to Regensburg, to the town. And
your mother and father were in the Holocaust?
They were in the Holocaust.
Which they perished?
My father was in Auschwitz.
Yeah.
My mother was in Skaržiško, and they ended up in Buchenwald.
Okay. Oh, my.
And I lost all of the family. My parents, of course, survived. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And except for one set of cousins, everyone else was wiped out.
Wow.
So that made me become a rabbi. And now we'll go backwards. So I was born in Regensburg. Mm-hmm. And I was raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a Midwesterner.
Oh, I am too a Midwesterner.
Yes, you're from Chicago.
I come from Chicago, right.
Yeah. So the first thing I've got to tell all of you, when I came to New York at the age of 17 to go to Yeshiva University, I was in culture shock. I mean, New York was first, and I grew up in the city in Kansas City, so they used to ask me if I milked cows. I didn't see a cow until I went to New Jersey. I had no clue, but I said, yeah, of course, I milked cows in the morning, and I, grew hay. I don't know. I did corn. So they believed everything I said. They thought I was some type of hit. But the end of the story was I come to New York. No one wants to say hello.
Yeah.
No, and if you say hello to somebody, they want to shoot you.
Yeah.
I didn't know what glatt kosher was.
Glatt kosher, yeah.
Glatt means no imperfection.
Yeah, perfectly clean.
So in Kansas City, I only had a Hebrew school background.
Yeah.
But because I started wearing a skull cap and keeping Shabbos, to some extent, they all thought I was going to be a rabbi. So already I was a rabbi.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I go into this butcher shop, and there's this old rabbi or whoever he was with this long beard.
Yeah.
And he's cutting the meat.
Oh, I must tell you a story, but I want you to keep... Can I tell you a story now?
Sure.
Okay. I used to deliver chickens in Chicago for the butcher, Mr. Perlman. Okay. And he used to slaughter the chickens strictly kosher, kosher, kosher. I was a kid. He used to ride the bike. I used to deliver the chickens all the time, and so he used to wrap them up in the newspapers. Okay, I used to deliver the chickens to the customers. Were strictly kosher. So one woman opened up the whole paper, and she took the chicken and she smelled it on the disarm. She smelled it on the disarm, and she said she spread the legs on the chicken. She smelled it, and she says, kid, she says, this chicken stinks. And I said, lady, can you pass a test like that? I said, so she said, I don't want this. I said, you got to take the chicken. I'm only a kid. I make a living. I said, you got to give me a tip. Where's my quarter? And I finally got the quarter, and I ran like hell. Left it with the chicken. Okay, go ahead, talk.
So anyway, this guy's cutting the meat, and I see part of his beard's being cut too. Oh, the lot kosher. Now I understand. You have a beard part of the deal. So anyway, I was in culture shock coming to New York. People were not friendly. People were not talking to you. I remember on the subway. In Kansas City, you don't have a subway. Yeah. We didn't have a yeshiva. I went to Hebrew school. So I'm on the subway. And there's this old lady, and I give her my seat.
Oh, that's nice.
That was a huge mistake.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's looking at me with daggers. How dare I? Because that means that they would have to do the same thing.
Well, that's what they do to me. Every time I get on a bus, the people with crutches or a wheelchair or something, they look at me, they get up and they give me the seat. I don't look that bad.
So, I said, uh-oh. Now I made another mistake in New York. I gave my seat away. I don't know.
You gave your seat? No, but that's what people do all the time.
Horrible. Yeah. And then in the Midwest, people are friendly. You know that.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the fact that there's robberies these days, we used to keep our doors open. People used to visit.
That's
right.
You
didn't make an appointment. You didn't make a phone call. You just came.
That's right.
Hi, I'm here.
That's right. I used to have a screen door, no locks, no nothing. In those days, it was beautiful. Today, the world has changed. Everything has changed.
I'm here. Give me a sandwich. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Not here. So here you have to make an appointment. You have to call first.
That's right.
And I would visit people's homes thinking I'm in the Midwest. That didn't work out too well. Knock, knock. I'm here. Good. Who cares? Goodbye. Have a nice day. So I get here after going to Hebrew school and being bar mitzvahed and all those good things. And I decided to become a rabbi because of the Holocaust.
All right.
So the only way to become a rabbi is you have to go to seminary. So I decided I would go to Yeshiva University.
Okay.
And spent a good time of my life at Yeshiva University becoming a rabbi. In those days, though, religion was different. I've got to tell you. Religion today has gone to the left and it's gone to the right, and there's not much in the middle. And I think it's horrible.
Yeah, because when I was brought up, and I was brought up very Orthodox, Jewish as well. And I went to the Yeshiva University. I went to everything, but I went in the Midwest in Chicago, and I went to Hebrew school when I was 4 years old. And in the Yeshiva, if you didn't keep your finger on the place in the Gemara, the rabbi would come along, he'd take a ruler, he'd smash you across the face. He'd hit you and everything else. If you didn't go to the synagogue and if you didn't daven Shachas, Mincha, and Marav, which is the morning service, the afternoon service, and the evening service, my father would beat the hell out of me every day.
Right.
He'd beat the hell out of me every day. I ran away from home twice. He brought me back. Thank God I just had to separate myself from that kind of life. And it was a horrible life, a horrible life in those days. It was very, very strict. Very religious, and if you didn't observe, in my family, they would beat the hell out of you.
I understand. So one of the things coming from the Midwest that I decided, even in those days, was to be non-judgmental when it came to Jews. And I don't care if you're Reform, Reconstructionist, Conservative, or Orthodox. I make no difference. Hitler didn't make a difference. I don't make a difference. I try to be very understanding of everybody. And I have a big problem with people judging you. Whether it be an Orthodox person judging a non-religious person.
Well, there's different sects. There's different sects and everything else. And one sect would judge the other sect, and they would say, "Oh, that's not right. That wasn't written like that. You have to do it this way. You have to do it that way."
So I still have a problem with people judging each other. And when I came here, one interesting story. I Didn't have any family. I'm an only child.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh,
Only child.
what do you know?
How do you do?
How do you do? So I have 4 children and 9 grandchildren so far.
God bless
Whatever
you.
you do not be an only child.
God bless you.
It works at the beginning. You know, you get everything you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't work later. God
Yeah,
forbid.
yeah.
So anyway, being from the Midwest. I made some friends with some people. A rabbi invited me to his house for Shabbos.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice rabbi. Unfortunately, he died too young.
Yeah.
And so I decided, well, I'd visit other people while I was there. And I had met these girls, and I decided, okay, I'm going to, Shabbos, I'm walking over. It's only a few blocks. Knock, knock. Father comes to the door. I'm wearing my best polyester yellow jacket and my black pants. He throws me out of the house.
Of course, because you didn't look like a slob.
So I didn't look like a slob.
Look like a slob.
Obviously, I wasn't religious enough, and obviously, I didn't have yichus.
Okay.
Yichus means, background.
Did you have the tzitzis?
I didn't have anything.
Oh, without
So-
the tzitzis, not welcome at all.
So,
Okay.
but that was, that was only part of it. So, as I kept dating, I didn't understand any of these. These religious girls made
Yeah.
no sense to me.
Yeah.
Where I came from, I was one of the most religious people.
Yeah.
And here I find these girls very strange. They judged you. I used to go on these blind dates.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was okay. I was a lot thinner.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did pretty well.
Yeah.
And I used to lie.
What?
I learned that from the New Yorkers.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I lied. I would tell them I was pre-med. Or pre-law.
Oh.
Not that I was studying to be a lawyer, because I found out that didn't work. So when we went to these singles events at Rosenberg or the Concord,
Yeah.
we all lied.
Yeah.
No one told the truth.
Oh, that's awful. That's terrible.
And I would never tell anybody I was a rabbi, because no one would go out with me, and that'd be the end of the story.
Of course.
So, but I got to tell you, I met this beautiful woman. Interesting story, which I'll tell you. Is my wife of over 30 plus years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we have 4 beautiful children, as I said, 9 grandchildren.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are dating, there's hope.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a blind date with her 10 years before.
Really?
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
And met her again at the HomoWack. It was a singles weekend at the
HomeWack Lodge.
HomoWack. Yes.
Yeah.
And I saw this beautiful, young lady, and I figured I'd make my move. I was doing good that weekend.
Yeah.
Made my move.
Yeah.
I was already a rabbi of a shul.
Yeah, yeah.
And lo and behold, we decided we knew each other from that blind date.
Yeah.
And I told her that day we're going to get married.
Really?
Yeah, I just knew it. There was no question about this after going to 1,000 dates.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can tell you one more thing, because I used to run dating events.
Really?
As a young rabbi, I would do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get married until I was 33.
Yeah, all right.
Primarily because I was a rabbi in these towns that if you want to go on a date, you dated a cow. It was with one-horse towns.
One-horse town? Wow.
Yes. So bottom line is that have hope. If you haven't found the right one, it may be someone that you dated before, ask them out. Very, very important.
Okay.
But have hope. Keep trying.
Okay, yeah, keep trying, yeah.
So I then entered into the rabbinate.
Yeah.
And I was placed into my first synagogue, a conservative congregation.
Conservative?
Conservative.
All right, that's all right.
It's okay with me, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So bottom line is the world has changed.
Yeah.
So for an Orthodox rabbi to be put in a conservative shul was a death sentence.
Yeah, because now let me explain to the people watching the show. All right, a conservative is when the people sit together, the men and the women sit together. In a Orthodox, the women sit separately and the men sit separately, and they all pray separately. In a Reformed, which I was never brought up like that, it's all done in English. It's not done in Hebrew and stuff like that. But I think it's a more comfortable situation. Conservative is, I think, for everyone is more comfortable, even though it's not for me, because since I was brought up very Orthodox. When I go in, if I ever go in again to an Orthodox synagogue, a shul, a synagogue, it's more homey for me because I was brought up like that. Even though I'm not like that now, but it's more comfortable.
So people ask me what I was brought up like. I was brought up Holocaust.
Holocaust,
Yeah.
okay.
My parents were not religious.
They're not religious.
Nope.
All right.
My grandparents, who I never met because they were killed in the Holocaust,
All right.
were Hasidim.
Wow.
Very pious.
Well, then it's the same thing like me, because I'm not religious now, and I was brought up very Orthodox.
Right.
Yeah.
So here I am in a conservative synagogue, and lo and behold, I did not know that then, as the years would pass, that a few years later, I would get a phone call saying, "You have got to leave your synagogue."
What?
Yeah, it was on Rosh Hashanah, before Slichot, the service.
Yeah, yeah.
I get a phone call
Slichos,
says, from, I'm not going to mention names to protect the people who are not innocent.
Yeah.
But I was told that I must leave the conservative synagogue or else I would burn in hell.
What?
So, yes, the burning in hell didn't bother me so much, but how was I going to make a living?
Yeah.
So the end of the story was I went public with it. That I got this phone call, and this was already my fourth synagogue. But my first one, I was placed in a conservative synagogue.
Yeah, yeah.
So the end of the story was that I then became what they call basically an Ostvorf. An Ostvorf in Yiddish is, I don't fit in here, I don't fit in there, I don't fit in anywhere.
Yeah, a misplaced person.
I'm a misplaced person.
Oh, how terrible.
And as the dinosaurs are concerned, I'm a dinosaur, because most of the rabbis that are a little bit older than me, who went into conservative synagogues, were able to last. Because in the old days, the seminary, the conservative seminary, didn't have enough people to put in the conservative synagogues.
That's right.
So the Orthodox guys went in.
Yeah.
In fact, you people that are older know that your rabbis were probably Orthodox.
Yeah.
So the end of the story was, here I am, basically the only one left. I lasted 41 years. 41 years I lasted.
Wow.
I said Moses lasted 40. In the desert, 41 is enough for me.
Wow.
So I'm retired. And by the way, I'm looking for speaking engagements because I need to make a living.
All right.
So if anyone wants me, please call me.
Okay.
So my whole life has been basically controversy. I always speak my mind.
Good.
I tell people what I believe, which is not a good thing.
Well,
not a good thing. I tell all the young rabbis, if you want to have a life of controversy, just remember it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Okay, but I am a controversial guy, and I continue to be because of the Holocaust.
Okay.
So I speak out. Yeah. So when I say, I'll give you an example with homosexuality and all these new fandangle things that people are talking about. When someone asked me in 1974 what I thought about all this, I said, I don't know, I don't care. Are they Jewish? Fine. I didn't matter to me. Homosexual, not a homosexual. It's not my business.
Yeah, life
you
is
want
life.
an aliyah? I'll give you an aliyah.
That's right.
I'm not going to say Ya'amod ha-homosexual. I'm going to say Ya'amod your name.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if you're a cross-dresser, which we didn't have in those days.
But we have them now. They're all over.
Because to hate. Come, I'll give you an aliyah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I make no judgmental.
Yeah.
Okay? So that was a mistake.
Yeah.
For me, in 1974, already to say that I'm not judgmental was a huge mistake.
In 1974.
Already was a huge mistake. And of course today, I'm not judgmental. It's an even bigger mistake.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because in the circles that I'm in, it's not considered to be
but that's the way life
proper.
is.
That's the way life is.
Yeah.
So basically my whole life has been full of games and controversy. I'm rabbi for Trump.
Yeah.
We just did a show on that.
Okay.
I'm very outspoken when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
So there are people in the audience today, the rabbi should not be involved in politics. Well, you're probably right, but this rabbi is, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if there were rabbis involved in politics during the Shoah, during the Holocaust, maybe we would have saved some of the 6 million lives, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that there were 400 rabbis that went to Roosevelt, and we're going to talk about this in another segment. Pleading for Roosevelt to do something about the Jews that were being murdered in Europe. 400 Orthodox rabbis.
And even on Hitler's side, there was a Jewish a relative or something. The mother was Jewish or something.
No,
the grandmother.
But at the beginning, all sorts of stories. But I don't believe that there was any family that was Jewish. But the bottom line is, had there been more rabbis in trying to convince Roosevelt, who I think was an anti-Semite, by the way, being outspoken, and by the way, so were most of the people in those days. 50% of the American public during World War II in a survey was anti-Semitic. Maybe not overly by hanging people, but overly by, if you ask them the question, they would say they were anti-Semitic. Most people don't know that. Roosevelt couldn't care less about the 6 million. All he cared about was winning World War II.
Yeah,
so
of course,
another issue altogether.
Another issue altogether,
but
right.
If we would have been more outspoken, if we would have taken a chance and had some balls, had some guts, things might have changed. So I, from the very beginning, decided I would be outspoken. I'm in the newspapers, et cetera, et cetera. Is it good for a young rabbi? I don't advise it. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. My 2 boys went to Yeshiva University. I convinced both of them not to be rabbis. Yeah. And my girls certainly don't want to be rabbis. They're very religious. And by the way, as Moses found out, dealing with a board of directors is very difficult, and he's constantly taking 2 tablets because he had migraines.
Oh boy!
So,
but we do have
it's a difficult life.
We do have a woman rabbi in the Actors Shul, the Actors Temple, in Midtown Manhattan.
Okay, so I tried out for that synagogue.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, okay. Ready for this, everybody out there?
Let me hear.
You'll love this one. So this is 1974.
Okay.
And I'm newly ordained.
Okay.
But please understand, I'm still a Midwesterner. I don't understand the game.
Okay.
You know, I don't understand that you're only supposed to go into an Orthodox synagogue. I don't understand that you're supposed to be open-minded. I never learned that.
Okay.
Still in my system, I never learned that. I'm the only rabbi where the Rosh Yeshivas, they asked me a big mistake. I started teaching it there in 72, public speaking. So they asked me to give a speech at the synagogue, and the Rosh Yeshivas walked out on me. And called me in Yiddish every name they could possibly think of, not realizing I spoke Yiddish.
Well, you speak more. You speak Yiddish, you speak German, you speak, how many languages? 4 languages, I think. Yeah, okay.
So the bottom line is, he didn't understand what I said in English. I said, for those people who don't believe in God, God is dead. Okay, and that was the years of God is dead, if you remember that whole discussion.
Yeah.
And so he walked out on me, called me every name in the book. But things never changed for me. I kept being outspoken. So my life continues, and here I am being outspoken. I'm on your show.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Ask me anything you want.
Josie Show.
Yes.
Josie Show.
So ask me anything you want. As far as Judaism is concerned, I think Judaism is in big trouble.
Yeah.
Huge trouble. Too many liberals.
Yeah.
Customs and ceremonies basically thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Orthodox is about 10%. I predict that in years to come, there'll be reform, there'll be Orthodox. Conservative will drift away into reform.
You really think so?
Yes.
Conservative will drift away?
Absolutely. It's horrible.
It is.
Now listen. Now we're going to get into controversy, but that's okay, because I don't care. Here in New York, there's 70% intermarriage.
Okay.
70%. Now, please understand, I'm the most understanding person when it comes to intermarriage.
Okay.
I'll do everything. I'll send them my head whistle Dixie, make you feel at home. I'll convert you.
Okay.
I'll invite you to my house. I'll love you. I'll kiss you. I'll hug you. Okay. So that my issue isn't that. My issue is that if the children are not converted, in the case of a mother that's not Jewish, except in the Reform movement, we lose a Jew. You see? So I have this Hitler situation where I already lost my whole family. I don't want to lose more. You understand?
No, of course not. Yeah.
So, if you ask me, I think that reform is becoming more religious.
Yeah.
I think the conservatives, they're like in the middle, and they can't. Some are going this way, some are going that way, and the Orthodox are surviving. But even in the Orthodox, of course, there are some intermarriages also.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about our faith.
Well, I intermarried also. My last wife was Italian, and she wanted to go to the mikveh, and she says, "Look, I want to go to the mikveh." And I said, "You'll drown. You don't know how to swim."
Well, I've done a lot of mikvahs. I've converted a lot of people, but again. If you intermarry, please send the children to a religious school. You don't ask them to decide which religion they want. Okay. If you want them to be Jewish, you have to send them to a Jewish school. Please, if you can, if the mother doesn't want to convert, which most of the time is the case, but maybe she's Catholic, she doesn't want to convert because of her parents, which I understand. At least try to convert the children.
Yeah.
And otherwise, we're going to be in deep trouble. Israel's in trouble.
Yeah.
Israel's in trouble, and that's why I'm working for the Trump campaign. I think he's going to be more positive towards Israel.
Yeah.
This is not the 60s. If you remember in the 60s and the 70s, because I was one of the leaders in this, we used to come out at the United Nations, 250,000 young people from Yeshiva University, Jewish Theological Seminary, the Reform, everybody. We came out to protest. We wanted Israel to survive. Not today.
Yeah.
Not today. Most Jews, unfortunately, are not the Jews of yesteryear. A lot of Jews are pro-Palestinian, which is very problematic.
Yeah.
Okay? And I hope you are all listening today. If we don't have an Israel, this is what I predict. You're going to see anti-Semitism here in America and around the world like you've never seen. Anti-Semitism exists now in Europe. Is another Holocaust possible? The answer is yes. People don't like when I say it. Another Holocaust possible.
I hope it never comes.
It can happen. It'll be in a different form. It'll be in a different form. Now, just think about this. A couple of hydrogen bombs lobbed into Israel, okay, and wipes out the Jews in Israel. That's a Holocaust. I don't care what anyone says. And look what's going on in Europe. Anti-Semitism galore. Okay, are we speaking about it here in America? Not enough. Do most of our young people know about it? No. On the campuses, these radical professors are teaching our young people to hate Israel, to be pro-Palestinian, and they know very little about Judaism, and it's horrible. We better start doing something in a hurry.
Wow, Rabbi Rosenberg, we're going to run out of time. Tell the people out there how they can get in touch with you, please. For anything.
Anything, please. ChaimDove@AOL.com. It's been a pleasure being on your program. If I said anything that was very controversial and you can't deal with it, that's your problem, not mine, because that's what I do. I am controversial.
It's absolutely wonderful. And, I think that we may have a revolution in this country. I think it's time. I think it's coming. I hope it never comes, but in my gut feeling is that it may. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much watching Josie Show, Persons of Interest, coming to you from the MNN TV studios in New York City. We're on every other Tuesday night. Once again, at 6 p.m., we're on FiOS, RCN, and Time Warner Cable. And I want to thank you very much for watching the show. Josiane is in the control room, and she does all the printing, and she does all the sound work, and she does all everything, the camera work and everything else. And Rabbi Rosenberg, it was a pleasure having you. And we're going to try and do one more show with Rabbi Rosenberg, and it's going to be on what?
It's going to be on the Holocaust. If you look the program behind you, that's my father of blessed memory, my mother of blessed memory, and that fat little kid is me in Regensburg, Germany.
And you look about the same. Don't you look about the same?
I basically look, unfortunately, the same. Yes.
No. Well, if you had the hat off, you would look the same if the kid was wearing a little yarmulke and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But the kids are